The following is a presentation of the Pro Wrestling Report. Informative, entertaining, and real since 1998.
Andy, can you come here for a second, please?
Here's your Jameson, Mr. Nelson.
Thank you very much, very much. All right, now I understand that David Hero used some shenanigans to get into the vault to get that tape that he aired last week, and it wasn't you. So I am hereby reinstating you.
Thank you.
Here onto the program. But you are on a 2-year probation period, okay? 2 years. You screw up in that 2 years, you're out of here. I'll fire you, okay? Now, very important though. David Hero is on a 1-week suspension, a 1-episode suspension. So he is not allowed into the building today. So I need you to let the receptionist, let Mr. Fix, let everybody know that David will not get into this building.
Okay.
I'm flying solo this week, all right?
Okay.
Can you handle that?
I think I can handle that.
Thank you very much, all right?
Thank you.
Where's the ice?
This is the Pro Wrestling Report, Primetime TV, the longest-running pro wrestling news program in the world, with your hosts, David Hero and Damian Nelson.
Now, Cal, listen, Damian doesn't want me on the show this week, so we may have a few issues to handle here, but I'm sure it'll be just fine. So let me just park out in the lot here, and I think it'll be beautiful. Hello, David Hero, PWR show, here for the taping today. Hello, David Hero, PWR show, taping. Are you kidding me? No. They're not buzzing this in. Issues. Hello?
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report, Primetime Television. I'm your host, Damian Nelson. And thank you for joining us here in this special New Year's Eve edition of the Pro Wrestling Report. And yes, indeed, David Hero has been locked out, and he is serving a 1-week suspension. However, we do have Proxy Hero here with us today. Hello, Dave. You've never sounded better. That's fantastic. This is going to be a great episode, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to take a look back at the 5 biggest news stories of 2011 from professional wrestling. And first, let's take a look at number 5. Number 5 coming in with The Rock returning to WWE back in February on his way to being guest host of WrestleMania in Atlanta. The Rock, obviously one of the biggest superstars in the history of professional wrestling, and as he returned to WWE, he showed everyone again just how great he is. The Rock at times getting emotional, even Vince McMahon getting emotional with that return, and The Rock saying he was never going to leave WWE again. Let's take a look back now at our episode from February of the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime and share with you our thoughts at that time of The Rock's return to WWE. The questions are many, and as you talk about the reaction, so much reaction. We talked about it on this past Monday's ESPN radio show, but David, the numbers are in. 4.8 million people approximately tuned in for the second hour of WWE Raw. For the 20-minute overrun, The Rock delivered 1 million additional viewers.
What happens is here comes The Rock. People are on their phones, they're tweeting, they're texting, they're Facebooking. Oh my God, The Rock is back. And he is. I mean, I talk to people that have not been wrestling fans for the past 5, 6, 7 years since Rock left. You know what they've told me? I'm now going to watch it again. The Rock is back. So you go from, and don't get me wrong, John Cena is a star in the wrestling business. He's not a crossover star. People Magazine, Extra, all covering, Entertainment Weekly, covering The Rock is back. John Cena doesn't get that kind of play. Randy Orton doesn't get that kind of play. Jeff Hardy, the list of stars don't get that kind of play. The Rock, even Stone Cold Steve Austin, as amazing as he is, would not get that kind of play.
And there are several business indicators that it would take too long for us to tell you. But one of them is general buzz, general discussion, general traffic for some of the support businesses of wrestling, of which we are one. And we celebrated one of our biggest days this year.
Valentine's Day.
On Monday on the website. And, hundreds of new people joining us on Twitter. That stuff happens when something big happens in wrestling.
If business goes up or if it stays the same. Because right now you got this huge spotlight of people coming back to watch Raw. They'll probably tune in to watch SmackDown, hoping there'll be a Rock sighting. And then now that these fans are back, now the John Cenas, the Del Rios, the Randy Ortons, the Edges, the Wade Barretts. Now these fans have a chance to connect with them, because now they're getting some old new fans back that might be interested in the new product.
Is it that candle being lit in the business that the fans can relate to, can accept, can go along with for the next few months?
Absolutely. How many catchphrases did The Rock use on his promo when he came back?
He used all of them. He didn't use Blue Hell. That's about the only one he didn't use.
Are you sure?
I don't recall hearing Blue Hell. I'm being corrected right now if he did.
I'm sure you are. But think about it. He had, at least 6 of them? There aren't 6 catchphrases on the entire both brands right now.
We should talk about what The Rock did say during that 20 minutes of overrun on Monday night. Swore at least 5-6 times, dropping A-bombs.
A-bombs.
Son of a
dog's
mother.
He took everything that we've been waiting for and gave it to everybody. He did. He didn't miss anything Monday night.
Not at all. And genuinely happy to be there. He
God,
went.
He looked great. He's jacked.
He spoke as Dwayne and addressed, I'm not here for the money. I'm not here to promote a movie. He said he's home. And he said, which is substantial, I think, he is never, ever going away. Well, those were our thoughts from our February 17th edition of the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime. As you know, The Rock now going into WrestleMania next year in Miami, Florida to take on John Cena one-on-one. Will he ever leave WWE again? Of course, for short periods of time, but he's headlining WrestleMania next year, and The Rock returning to WWE was number 5 on our countdown. We're going to take a timeout, and when we come back, what were the other 4 biggest news stories of 2011 in professional wrestling? You'll find out right here on My 24 Milwaukee.
What a bunch of crap this is. Gotta go into the front door, no more superhero action. It's Christmas, it's the holiday season. Are you serious? Press the button here once. Yeah, David Hero, PWR show. Are you kidding me? Another door locked?
Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime here on My 24 Milwaukee. Damian Nelson sitting alongside David Hero. Again, who's never sounded better. David Hero serving a 1-week suspension for his shenanigans last week, showing that footage that was never to air here on the Pro Wrestling Report. But More importantly, we're counting down the 5 biggest news stories of 2011. And number 4 takes us back to March. TNA Victory Road on pay-per-view. Jeff Hardy's public meltdown in his main event matchup with Sting. Let's go back to our episode that followed that meltdown and share with you our thoughts after it happened. Jeff Hardy unable to perform in a TNA pay-per-view main event. But David Hero, we haven't been here in the TV studio since TNA's Victory Road situation from a couple of weeks ago. Now we've had a chance to see what TNA has chosen to do with last week's Impact and even last night's Impact. And Jeff Hardy is but a whisper in the wind now to TNA Wrestling after showing up to TNA Victory Road in a state where he was not able to effectively perform and really putting a black eye on TNA, the organization.
He wasn't in any state, period. I mean, poor Jeff. Hopefully he gets his stuff, his act together, gets things right.
As JR would say, some demons to take care of.
Demons, absolutely. And anyone that says that demons weren't involved is lying.
But David, they know. They read it.
But
Doesn't mean anything.
now they're hearing it from us.
Oh.
So now it's, almost gospel. I like Jeff, super talented kid, guy, and he'll be back. I mean, there's no question he'll be back in TNA within 6 months to a year.
Really?
He makes too much money for the company. And he'll come back
But
as a
at what
babyface
cost?
because
At what cost?
Listen, it's already written. If you listen to the promo last week, how Hogan and Bischoff and Sting said he couldn't handle being in the shadow, and he was cast off. What better way to leave the door open for him to come back and say, hey, Hogan, I wasn't in your shadow, blah, 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 and then he'll feud against the heels and make even more money.
I don't know about that, David. Well, a very public meltdown by Jeff Hardy, and at the time our feelings were very strong about that public meltdown, but it would be later in the year that Jeff Hardy would give this show his very first video interview, his very first interview at all about the incident at Victory Road, and you can check out that interview, which was very revealing and insightful, at pwrshow.com. Jeff Hardy has cleaned himself up, cleaned up his demons, and is now on his way back into the main event title shot range in TNA Wrestling, especially since he'll be in the main event at January's Genesis. Number 3 on the countdown of 2011's biggest news stories from professional wrestling is a recent one, and that is the new era, if you will, in World Wrestling Entertainment. You talk about the Attitude Era, maybe this is the Internet Era, because right now the champions are CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, and Zack Ryder. Of course, there are more, but those 3 very important. And it was a little surprising to see CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, and Zack Ryder standing in the ring holding championship titles on a recent episode of Raw. Let's go back to our comments from PWR Prime Time, where we talked about those 3 men. We're going to talk about this past Sunday's WWE TLC on pay-per-view, which ended up being a very newsworthy pay-per-view where a brand new World Heavyweight Champion was crowned after Mark Henry beat down the Big Show. A beatdown from Mark Henry caused Daniel Bryan to cash in that Money in the Bank briefcase and become the new World Heavyweight Champion. Daniel Bryan has the World Heavyweight Championship in WWE. And David Hero, we talked extensively about this on this past Monday's radio show. Controversial to say the least, but Daniel Bryan has ascended the ranks of WWE and become champion. It's a significant moment.
Who would have thought Daniel Bryan Danielson could become the WWE, or no, just the world champion?
The world heavyweight
the best
champion
in the world right now.
That belt is still less significant than the WWE Championship, but
it may be, but wow. I mean, congratulations to Daniel Bryan. I mean, what a rise. I mean, from the guy who was paired off with The Miz on NXT, verbally beat down week after week by Michael Cole, gets fired for choking out John Cena with a tie, I believe. Right?
Choking out Justin Roberts.
Justin Roberts. Justin Roberts spits in John Cena's face, gets fired, brings him back at SummerSlam a year and a half ago, and he's now the world champion. That is quite the... Who would have thought? A groin pull could knock out the world's strongest man?
That was the reason for the shortness of the matchup, the reason for the cash-in. Now, that's not taking anything away from Daniel Bryan being the world heavyweight champion, but it seems as if the plans were for Mark Henry to hold on to that championship all the way through WrestleMania, but those plans have been derailed as Mark Henry is sidelined with a legitimate injury.
Which they could have kept it on him and just got through the pay-per-view and have him do tags and vignettes through the Royal Rumble. But obviously, Daniel Bryan, he was the sexy pick from Vinnie Mac and the creative people in that office. And wow, who would have thought you'd have 2 world champions from Ring of Honor Wrestling?
And that is really the significance of that. And we'll talk more about that in a minute. But the other big title change at WWE TLC this past Sunday night on pay-per-view was a brand new United States champion in Zack Ryder. Woo, woo, woo. You know it. Zack Ryder is the new United States champion. David Hero, a lot of people out there have been wanting this for a very long time. And really, if you look back over the last month or two, this has been a great build to this matchup between Dolph Ziggler and Zack Ryder. It was a great matchup, and Zack Ryder ultimately getting the win. It was almost classic wrestling storytelling.
The fans got exactly what they wanted, and I will say this, Zack Ryder and Dolph Ziggler had a fantastic match. May have been best match of the night. I mean, a lot of near falls, and I can't believe how popular he was. The crowd was going nuts when he won. The woo-woo-woos was ridiculous.
It's going to be an interesting next few weeks in WWE television because, as you said, David Hero, look at your champions right now. You've got CM Punk on the WWE Championship side, Daniel Bryan over on the World Championship side. The United States champion is Zack Ryder, a championship that has become much more significant as a direct result of Dolph Ziggler, I believe. The Intercontinental champion is the endorsed Cody Rhodes. The tag team champions Air Boom, the Divas champion Beth Phoenix.
It's a young group of champions right now.
A very young group of champions.
Unproven and young.
One topic of discussion that we talked about on this past Monday's radio show was, do they look like champions? And a lot of people agreed and a lot of people disagreed with the question, which was simply a question as to whether or not they look like champions. And one would say that this is the new era of WWE superstars. We talked about that 4-way matchup on Raw a couple of weeks ago featuring many of those same talents and how it was almost like an introduction to the new breed in World Wrestling Entertainment. Now, it is incumbent upon all of them to show all of you and all of us how great they can and will be. This could be an interesting ride for the next few months in World Wrestling Entertainment. And TLC was the springboard for that. Let's see what happens come the Royal Rumble on January 29th.
David, what's going on, man? Where's your key, brother?
You know, long story. Obviously, Damien's all upset about last week, showing his big match, him getting embarrassed.
What's he
My
upset
keys
about?
don't work. I can't get any of the doors. I couldn't get in the lot.
I'll get you a new
He
key.
sent me an email saying,
Yeah.
don't bother showing up. I've been suspended for a week.
Suspended.
You kidding me?
What, you got suspended because we had the best ratings all year?
Obviously, Mr. Creative Control can't handle good stuff.
Come on, man, let's go get you a key.
See, Paul Fix, he's the guy that runs the station. He knows that it was good for ratings last week. And I don't see why it's being so hard. Andy, thank God. We got it. You can't even spell my name right. Are you kidding me? I'm the star of the freaking show. This way, kid.
Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime. Damian Nelson along with David Octavius and Tiberius, the alleged one-time Backyard Hall of Famer who starred in the movie Mannequin back in 1989, Hero. And he has never sounded better. This is great. This is tremendous. See, never cross the boss, ladies and gentlemen. We're counting down the 2011 biggest news stories in professional wrestling, and the next one is a sad story, and it happened back in May. The passing of the Macho Man, Randy Savage, after a heart attack and a car accident. Let's go back to our comments about Randy Savage from that episode of the Pro Wrestling Report that followed that unfortunate news. While we talked about our thoughts the day of David Hero, now a week has passed, and we've seen the community of entertainment and the wrestling community come together with a common voice, and that is honoring the life, the career, the times of the Macho Man Randy Savage. David Hero, after seeing all of this, seeing the tribute from WWE this past Monday night and hearing all the great talents all over the world speak on the career of the Macho Man, what have you say now about Randy Savage?
That Randy Savage was bigger than just the world champion of wrestling. He was a pop cultural icon. I mean, you can say Hulk Hogan, everyone knows who Hulk Hogan is. Well, now you can say Macho Man, and you may not have thought it, people know who the Macho Man is also. And when they say Macho Man, they talk about Elizabeth. And, I mean, it's amazing how everyone talked about Savage with the Hall of Fame just passing, and how, when is he going to get in, when is he going to get in? And now it's like he reminded the world just how great he was. I mean, I'm sure you went back through YouTube and some DVDs and watched some of his old matches.
Absolutely.
It's like amazing how good he was in the ring, how intense he was, how amazing his promos were, his interviews were top notch. One of the few guys that could talk you into the building, and the world of wrestling, the world in general, pop culture, wrestling, whatever you want to say, they lost a true icon, an icon in sports entertainment.
An unfortunate bit of news, of course, with the passing of the Macho Man Randy Savage, making number 2 on our countdown of the biggest news stories of 2011 from professional wrestling. But number 1 belongs to the current WWE champion, the man who holds in his hand the pipe bomb, CM Punk. And it was that very moment, the pipe bomb moment back in June on Raw, where CM Punk said things that many of us and many of you had thought for a very long time. It matters not whether it was a work or a shoot, but it matters that it resonated with the audience and put CM Punk on the level of the main stars and the big stars in WWE, and he would proceed forward to become the WWE champion. It was interesting in that night on Raw with the pipe bomb because they also taped the next week's Raw right after that happened. So in this episode of the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime, we talked about not only the pipe bomb moment, but what would be happening the following week on Raw, which really summarized a bit of that first part of that story of the CM Punk saga. So let's go to that footage right now of us talking about the pipe bomb moment from the summer of Punk. No stone left unturned. Talks about John Cena, The Rock, Hulk Hogan, Vince McMahon, Stephanie McMahon, Triple H, Johnny Ace, the fans.
Everybody.
And
He cut a promo everybody wishes they could have said. And of course, let's be honest, he got the blessing from Vinnie Mac. Because there's no way that promo goes 10 seconds without a mic being killed. Because that truck in the back is like the be-all, end-all. Kevin Dunn knows exactly how that script is written, and once it goes off, they will make adjustments.
now I will give you that. There is no doubt that it was all agreed to in advance. But I don't think word for word what might have been talked about before is what was said out in front of the live audience.
Well, he may have thrown the Colt Cabana in there. He may have tossed in a Ring of Honor reference. But they got their point across. Mm-hmm. Everybody is still, what is it now, 4 days later, we're still talking about it, and we'll be talking about it through the weekend and all through next week. Probably for the next 3 weeks, we'll be talking about CM Punk and what he's been doing, what he's been saying. I mean, when the guys on Twitter, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Dave Batista, Jericho, even the guys in TNA, I mean, I had phone calls from guys in TNA Monday night after the show saying, what did he say? What was going on?
Because they were working?
Well, yeah, they were working. They were busy, you know. Come on, it's TNA, Monday night, TV tapings. It's great for wrestling. It sparked interest, sparked fire. There's no hotter wrestler on the planet right now than CM Punk. I would be willing to say if The Rock were to come back Monday night,
people would be waiting to hear what
people would rather see what Punk has to say than The Rock right now. hands down, it's a work because he called out everybody, you know? And if it was a shoot, more stuff would have leaked out from the back by now. You know, Punk would have gone. If he was truly suspended, Punk would have gone on Twitter and said something about it. Because what does he have to lose? He's done.
Right.
CM Punk has now put himself in the same spot that Brian Pillman put himself in when his contract was up from WCW. Highly sought after free agent. He'll be getting contract offers from pretty much every wrestling company under the sun, as well as indies and whatnot. He's going to cash in and make a lot of money on this. That's why I believe he's already re-signed a contract. He's going to take 6 months off, come back around the Royal Rumble time. What a great return would that be at the Rumble?
You know, I can't get this sneaking suspicion out of my head that CM Punk's actually going to win at Money in the Bank. Whether he still takes the time off or not, because he could win, throw the title back at Vince and John Cena and say, here, I don't even want it.
He very well could. You know what? I would love to see CM Punk beat John Cena and then give the belt back to Vince and leave. That would be great. But how does that help build John Cena as the unstoppable force to go against the immovable object at WrestleMania? Now, yes, wrestling fans do have a short memory, and they'll probably have forgotten that Punk beat John Cena. But Happy New Year, Dave. Meathead? Really? You took a pay cut to come? What are you? Listen, it's New Year's Eve.
He's supposed to be locked out.
Listen, here's a New Year's Eve date for you. I want to make sure that you have a good time tonight.
No, you're not supposed to be here.
I got it. Listen,
this is my show this week. You're suspended. I'm riding solo.
I understand, but we want ratings.
Who let him in?
We want to have fun. It's
Who let him in?
Listen.
No, I don't want to listen to you. I'd much rather listen to the mannequin.
The fans.
It was insightful. It was intelligent.
The fans loved last week's episode. It was one of the highest rated of all time. And let's end 2011 with fun. We've been
having fun. We've been counting down the biggest stories of 2000. Oh, you just wanted to drop a pipe bomb on your own and interrupt CM Punk. That's what you wanted to do.
The biggest story of 2011 is the shenanigans of the PWR show. So I handed off another tape to Andy.
No, Andy knows better. He's on probation.
It is now time for the shenanigans of PWR 2011. Happy New Year, everybody.
This is ridiculous. I'm in charge.